So welcome back to the channel. It's your boy LFC Plavi here, and I'm here to preview Liverpool versus Manchester United. So I'll start off right away with some facts about this particular fixture. So Liverpool haven't lost to Manchester United at Anfield since 2016, and so we know that they don't have a very good record against Liverpool at Anfield. Secondly, this is a game between the best home team so far this season. Liverpool have won 3 out of 3, and the worst away team in the league so far this season. Manchester United haven't won a game away from home. They've lost, I think, 3 and drawn 1. So when we look at the record so far, it doesn't look like Manchester United are favorites in this particular game, even though we know the form of Liverpool having been good over the past 2 Premier League games. Now, what works in favor of United that I think would make them confident of coming to Anfield is the fact that Liverpool are not in very good shape. Liverpool are vulnerable to counter-attacks, and so they can be assured that when they sit back and defend well, they can nick a goal through transition play. Secondly, Liverpool is a team that can be got at. If you put pressure on our defense, use long throws, set pieces, it is likely you are going to get some joy against Liverpool. So I think those are the 2 things that Manchester United will be looking to exploit when they come to Anfield this particular Sunday. Now, let's look at what goes in favor of Liverpool. I think what Liverpool have in their favor is the main thing for this particular games. Having lost the last 2 Premier League games and also 1 Champions League game, which makes it 3 losses in a row. The Anfield crowd is going to be buzzing on Sunday. And so I think that the Anfield crowd is going to be a massive factor in this particular game. I think this game, Anfield is going to feel more like a European night because it's a derby. It is against arbitrary rivals in the league. And so fans are going to be desperate to get the win. And so I believe they are going to push the boys, urge them on, and make sure that they put a lot of pressure on the referee, on the Manchester United players, and make sure they have a hard time at Anfield. So I think the main thing that is in our favor to turn our form around so far this season would be the fans. They are going to be massive. And I wouldn't be surprised if Arne Slot in his press conference on Friday urges the fans to be in their top shape, because it is going to be massive for this particular game. The second thing that I think is in favor of Liverpool is the fact that if we can keep a clean sheet, then we win this game. If Liverpool can keep a clean sheet, we have too many excellent attacking players not to be able to score a goal. And this Manchester United team struggle to keep clean sheets. So if we can keep a clean sheet at home, at Anfield, then we have all the opportunity to go ahead and win the game. So I think that is something that we should be aiming for. The problems that Liverpool are facing this season are many, but I do think that the solution is very simple. Let's work on our defensive solidity. Let's be solid at the back. If we can be solid at the back, put 6 men behind the ball, the remaining 4 guys up front can do the job. Vets, Salah, Gakpo, Ekitike, and whoever is added to that front 4 will be able to do damage to any team. So I think that if Arne Slot wants to turn things around this season, the first thing he should focus on is being defensively solid. It doesn't matter if we play a low block. It doesn't matter if we play a mid block. The most important thing is that I actually want to see Liverpool being boring again. I just want to see Liverpool being boring again. Just like the beginning of last season. It was boring. We score 1, and nothing else happens in the game. We score 2 and the game is over in the first half. I want us to get back to that state where we were boring. There was nothing exciting. We get a goal and that's it. So let's get back to that boring way. Be defensively solid. Because I know that we can always nick a goal. We can always nick a goal against any team with our front 4. Whoever is playing, whether it's Ekitike starting or Isak starting in the number 9 position. Whoever plays around that number 9, Salah, Vets, Gakpo, or even when we put Vet on the left-hand side, it doesn't really matter who plays where. I think we just have enough quality to be able to beat teams if we are defensively solid. Now, let's go to the lineup. So, given the context of international break, I think that it is important to take into consideration the next week ahead of us. So, the selection for this particular game, I think Arne Slot is going to take into account the midweek game against Frankfurt, and also the game at the weekend. And I think that is against Brentford. So he's going to plan for the entire week. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some big names on the bench on Sunday against Manchester United. And a lot of people always ask the question why we would spend so much money on, for example, Isak or Vets or even Ekitike and put them on the bench. There is nothing wrong with putting a player on the bench, no matter what the price is, because the main aim is to play the whole season, keeping players fresh and available. So it is not necessarily the case that players who came in for big prices should always play every single game. That is not necessarily the case. You might come back at me and say that this is a big game. It is against Manchester United. It's the derby. So why are we putting someone like Isak on the bench? Winning against Manchester United at Anfield doesn't win you anything at this stage of the season. It doesn't. That is the truth of the matter. No matter what you think about how important this particular game is, winning that game or playing all your best players doesn't even guarantee you will win. So that's the first thing that we should know. So I think that the lineup should very much take into account the entire week that is ahead of us to make sure that we are keeping players fresh, putting players in positions where they are best suited to playing. The formation that I'll go with for this particular game would be 4-2-2-2 or 4-4-2 if you like. So this 4-4-2 is basically 4 defenders, 2 defensive midfielders, and then I'll play 2 10s and then 2 wide players on the left and on the right, so that there is no target man, there is no number 9. We have 2 10s and then 2 wingers basically. So left winger and then a right winger, and they will be providing the width for the team and also running in behind the defense. Given that Manchester United are playing a 3-back, I believe that in this game we should very much concentrate on stretching their back line, playing with the wide forwards, Gakpo and Salah. So there you go with my first 2 players that are going to be starting this game. So I'll start with the defense. In defense, of course, in goal is Georgie Mamadashvili, because Alisson is injured. On the right-hand side, I'll go for Bradley. At centre-back, I'll go for Konate and Van Dijk, if Konate is fit. If not, then I think this is the opportunity to bring in Gomez. A lot of people are asking that Gomez should start, and so if Konate is not fully fit, then I think this is the opportunity to bring in Gomez. At left back, I'll play Milos Kerkez. I'll maintain Milos Kerkez at left back. Robertson, I think from what I'm hearing, didn't have a very good international break. He didn't have a good performance in, I think, one of the games that he played. So we all know that Robertson is getting old, and that is slowing him down a bit. He's struggling a bit with his defensive duties as well as some of his attacking duties. So I think Kerkes, in spite of the challenges that he's faced so far at Liverpool, I think is a solid left back option. The only problem is the way in which Slot is using Kerkes. He's not being given the license to bomb forward as much as we used to see him do for Bournemouth. So I think that is the only thing that has to change. Instead of keeping him as a third centre back in most of the game, I think he should be given the license to go forward and join the attack, so that the two defensive midfielders would cover for him, Kerkes, and also whoever plays on the right back, Bradley or Frimpong. But for this game, I'll go for Bradley at the right back. My midfield, so as I said, is going to be a 4-2-2-2. So my midfield four is going to be Jones and Gravenberch at the base. And then in front of them, I'm going to go for Vets and Soboslai. So my 2 10s are going to be Vets and Soboslai. And then the 2 wide forwards, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be Gakpo and Salah. This is the lineup that I would go with, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go with a 4-2-3-1 formation as Slot usually prefers. And in that case, I believe Slot is going to go for the base of Soboslai and Gravenberch, given that McAllister traveled a long distance. And so usually after international break like this, it is sensible to give McAllister a break and start him in the midweek game against Frankfurt in the Champions League. So in that case, if Slot goes for the 4-2-3-1, it is going to be Gravenberch and Soboslai, and then in front of them would be Vets. On the left would be Gakpo, and we'll have Ekitike in the number 9 and Salah on the right wing. So that is what I think Slot might do. But if I had any input into this lineup, I would go for the 4-2-2-2 and not give the defenders of Manchester United, such as Maguire and De Ligt, any target man to mark. And I think United usually suffer from deep runs, people making deep runs, because there are 2 midfielders in Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro fail sometimes to track runners into the box. And so I think that using 2 10s in Soboslai and Vets is going to give them a lot of problems. And the fact that our 2 wide forwards are going to stretch the pitch to strike that back 3 is going to create holes in between the back line for the midfielders, the 2 10s, to be able to exploit that space. So that is why I believe the 4-2-2-2 would be the best formation to play in this game. My score prediction. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Liverpool win. And I say a 2-0 because I have my Liverpool hat on, right? So with my Liverpool hat on and with all my biases in favor of Liverpool, it's a 2-0 win. But if I take off my Liverpool hat and try to be objective and predict based on what I've seen so far from both teams, then I would go for a 1-1 draw between the 2 teams, because I think Liverpool are vulnerable at the back. I don't have a lot of confidence in Liverpool keeping a clean sheet. And so conceding a goal is something that I very much see in this game. But I also do think that Liverpool will score in this game. So a 1-1, I think, would be my most objective scoreline for this game. But with my Liverpool hat on, of course, I'm going to predict a 2-0 win, because I'm super optimistic that we are going to turn things around in this particular game. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like. If you are new here, please subscribe and also hype the video if you have that option available. Thank you. Stay blessed and see you.